massive budget down there in LSU, no doubt about it, Joe. But
I just want to bring in, he's very close to Eddie O, too.
Yeah.
And Eddie O potentially had said he would, love a return. You bring that type of talent, another major recruiter.
Yes.
And Ed Ogeron back to Baton Rouge. You're going to have a fantastic NFL caliber type of staff, and they're going to hit the ground running week number 1 come 2026.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
There are a million ways to make money on this. There really is, right? Like, I sit back. We've given you a couple of ours that we've given you. I think they're all going to win, essentially. The gold one, the Google Views one. The only one I might not win, Cam, that I gave people was, will the U.S. government announce that aliens exist in 2026?
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Here's the problem. When Joe Dumars blows it up and trades Zion, who is going to give them anything more than 25 cents on the dollar for a damaged goods superstar who misses significant time, who doesn't love the game, but is built like a freight train? Problems are in New Orleans, and I don't know how it gets fixed.
Pro Basketball Today only on SportsGrid.
Florida was thought to get Lane Kiffin, but they go and turn to Tulane head coach John Summerall. This is a solid hire, coach.
He's a tough-minded coach. I thought he would be a perfect fit at Auburn, just knowing he's from Alabama. But I think Florida got an outstanding coach. He will be a tough nut that knows how to win football games.
The Bowden Blitz only on SportsGrid.
Welcome to another edition of the Craig Carton Show. As always, my main man right over there, Mr. Tyrone A. Johnson. Sports is a pretty fickle business, Tyrone.
Yeah.
And one day you're on the top of the mountain and everyone adores you and your money's no good in any restaurants or bars and you drink for free. And bang, just like that. Bang, just like that. Bang, just like that. You're on the bottom of the totem pole. Nobody remembers your name. And you better bring cash because we don't trust that credit card's working. Oh, do I feel bad for Daniel Jones in Indianapolis. I really, really do. First, he breaks his fibula and says, you know what? I'm gutting it out. I'm a man's man. I'm playing. We're going down the wrong direction. We got to save the season. We went from the 1 seed to the 7 seed. We're a loss away from being out of the playoffs altogether. I'm going to do my damnedest to be a man's man. I'm going to play football. And he does play football. And, of course, we all know the story by now. Tears his Achilles non-contact. That's the way it always is. And the Indianapolis Colts say there's nobody in America that can fill the shoes of Daniel Jones better than a 44-year-old Phillip Rivers who is eligible for the Hall of Fame. I think he's in the final 26 this year.
He is.
He's 44 years old. He's got grandkids. Hasn't thrown a pass in 5 years. You see him right there. And the Colts are like, there's nobody else alive that we could possibly find that could give us competent football to win a game or two. Very tough schedule in the final month. We'll get to that later on. And Phillip Rivers yesterday gets signed to their practice squad. And if he is activated for a game, and clearly he will be, because you don't sign him to the practice squad after a tryout or a workout with the team if he didn't look decent in that workout. So Phillip Rivers is going to start, I think, this Sunday for the Colts. A lot of people are saying, don't start against the Seattle Seahawks, a very good defense. The rest of their schedule's hard. And they don't have the luxury now of let's give 44-year-old Phillip Rivers 2 weeks to get ready to play what amounts to a playoff game for the Colts. But that's not the point I want to make here. The point I want to make here is the treatment of Daniel Jones, who is literally 5 weeks away from getting a contract north of $200 million to become the future franchise quarterback for the Colts moving forward, right?
He was.
And we can all agree that was happening. It was going in that direction, right?
It was. And he had all the leverage before the injuries. He had all the leverage.
That's right. He's on a one-year deal. It was a make-good deal after the way things ended in New York, then being traded or being released and signing with Minnesota. And then, of course, signing on really to be the backup to Anthony Richardson, getting the job, killing it, 8-1 at one point, and now they're 8-5. And most people, myself, I think you included, now will tell you the Colts are not making the playoffs this year, and there's a better chance they're 8-9 when the season's over than over 500. But that's not the point.
And they don't have a first-round pick.
No first-round pick as the Jets have. Right, correct. So the future is not bright for the Colts. And, Danny Jones is out for at least a year, right? So I know this is a stopgap measure, going out to get a 44-year-old Phillip Rivers. It just doesn't make any sense, obviously. But I want to get back to the sports being fickle part, okay?
Yeah.
Here's sports being fickle. And I'd hate to put you on the spot. If you don't know the answer, you will not be embarrassed. I promise you, I will let it go, okay? Yeah. Do you happen to know what number Daniel Jones wore this year as the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts? If you don't know, it's okay. I'm going to tell you either way.
I do know it.
Go ahead. What number did Daniel Jones wear since joining the Indianapolis Colts?
If I'm not mistaken, it was 17.
17. You guys want to confirm that downstairs? It has been confirmed. Daniel Jones, number 17, okay?
Yeah.
Now, Daniel Jones only has a one-year deal. Daniel Jones has no history with the Colts other than this year. Phillip Rivers is now coming in to become the new starting quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts. And apparently the choice came down to either him or Brett Rippon, who I think has 7 or 8 starts in his NFL career. Yeah. Not very good.
Yeah, he's on their practice squad.
If he even looked half decent, he would have been elevated off the practice squad, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what number Phillip Rivers is taking in his return to the Indianapolis Colts out of 5 years of retirement? If you wanted to take or hazard a guess,
wait a minute.
What number do you think the Colts gave him?
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I know what number he wore with the Chargers. They're not going to do this, are they?
Well, yeah, you can play it out if you want.
Well, with the Chargers and with the Colts.
Yeah, what number was he?
He wore 17.
17, that's his number. Phillip Rivers is number 17 now.
Yeah.
He didn't play long enough with the Colts to retire the
number. No.
Or to even put it in mothballs.
No.
Because he wasn't there long enough. And frankly, wasn't very good with the Colts based on expectation.
Older player, yeah.
The Indianapolis Colts, the body's not cold yet. And by the way, he's still physically showing up in the building.
Yes.
And will probably be on the sideline watching the game. The Indianapolis Colts have already given Daniel Jones his number 17 to Phillip Rivers now that he's returning to be their starting quarterback.
That's a cold shot.
Disrespectful that is. I know that was his number.
Yeah,
I know he's got a borderline Hall of Fame career. I know there's all the respect. And, if the number's available, you want to give it to him. But Daniel Jones is still on the roster.
Yes.
And while he's not playing another game because of the injury, that right there, all tied up in a nice little neat bow, is the fickleness of professional sports. The guy gave his leg and his Achilles to your franchise. And let's be honest, 3 months into the season or just under, he was the story of the NFL. Comeback player of the year, whatever, cockamamie awards you want to give professional athletes, he was going to get all of them, right?
Yeah. They had the number one offense.
They were 8-1. They had the best offense in football, and they were going to be the 1 seed in the AFC playoffs. All roads to the Super Bowl were going to lead through Indianapolis, right?
Yeah.
And the guy gives his leg and his Achilles to the franchise, and the first chance they get to humiliate him, to embarrass him, and to emasculate him is they give his number away to a 44-year-old grandfather who hasn't thrown a pass in 5 years in the NFL. That's why anytime you as fans, I don't care what the sport is, we have baseball coming up today as well with the Diaz and other rumors happening out there with major guys in MLB. That's why as a fan, you should never, ever, ever take the team side over the player side. You should always be player first, because all Daniel Jones did was resurrect his own career while resurrecting the franchise of the Indianapolis Colts. That's what he did. He made the Colts watchable. He made the Colts relevant. And the first chance they get to take the, what do you call it? The shiv?
Yeah.
What do you call it?
Yeah, shiv, yeah.
Yeah, the knife. I call it a knife, whatever. And you shiv a guy.
Yeah, shiv is like
it's a prison term.
Homemade.
Yeah, a homemade knife's a shiv. That's right. I know a little something about that. The first chance they got to stick that shiv right in his back, they did it, and they did it with smiles on their faces. If I'm Daniel Jones, I would go into the Irsay family, it still obviously operates, the team, and I would say to them, go F yourselves. Because as soon as I'm back and I'm allowed to play and my leg is good and my Achilles is good, and look, I get it, he's not playing next year. It's a year injury, no matter how you slice it. You're out for a year, so in theory, he'd be back for the final month of his season with no practice really at all. So I'm just going to I'll take the liberty of saying he's done for the year. And normally we don't talk about the Colts much on the show. We don't talk about Daniel much on the show. But like as a fan, as a human being, I'm like, can't you give Phillip Rivers a different number? Right. Can't you show a little bit of respect for the guy that is not only still under contract, because he is for the remainder of this year, but he's the captain of your team, he's the leader of your team, and he played his ass off for you. Right. When I saw that, I said, that's it. If anyone ever takes the team side over player side in negotiations ever again, shame on you. Because I know you want to show respect to Phillip Rivers, and that's his number. Man, Phillip Rivers hasn't played football in 5 years. And he's not a Colt.
Right, he's a Charger.
He's not a Colt. Like, if Peyton Manning was coming back, all right, I can make an argument.
Yeah, of course.
If Burt Jones was coming back, old Baltimore Colt days, okay, it makes sense. You can make an argument.
Johnny Unitas.
If number 19 was coming back, you could make a case for it. But Phillip Rivers gets to steal Daniel Jones' number? Not on my watch, he doesn't. We got a great show for you today. Thanks for joining us here on The Carton Show.
Nobody bats 300 anymore because the value of hitting a fly ball, which could eventually become a home run, is so much more valuable. It's when the shift in the NBA went from 2-pointers to 3-pointers. Well, if I can make 40% of my threes, I'm just going to jack threes all over the place. There's more value in that. Well, there's more value in just like ripping driver most of the time.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
You've got an 18-1-6 hockey team. You've got a 10-2 football team. So the best record in hockey, the best record in football, and top 5 in the NBA with Jokic and the gang, and the Nuggets at 14-6. And I'm saying to myself, what other town comes close to that?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
You're legendary. I'm legendary. And both of these guys love each other. Right? Cam Ward, they do. They work out. They work out. Legendary.
Go ahead.
Cam Ward.
Yep.
Shador Sanders.
Yep.
250 plus and 2 tutties each.
Amazing. That's nuts.
Why is it nuts?
Come on, that's crazy.
Why, though?
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Massive budget down there in LSU, no doubt about it, Joe. But
I just want to bring in, he's very close to Eddie O, too.
Yeah.
And Eddie O potentially had said he would, love a return. You bring that type of talent, another major recruiter.
Yes.
And Ed Ogeron back to Baton Rouge. You're going to have a fantastic NFL caliber type of staff, and they're going to hit the ground running week number 1 come 2026.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. We're going to play a little game here called Sports Logic, okay?
All right.
So the rules of the game are very simple, Tyrone. You have to only answer the questions I ask, and you have to follow my rules, all right?
Okay.
That's the way this game works, okay?
All right.
All right, so question number one for you is, what is the ultimate goal for an NFL quarterback in any particular season?
To win the Super Bowl.
Okay, that's correct. Good job. So question number one, the ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl, okay?
That's the goal.
That is the goal. All right, great. So I'm going to give you a list of 7 quarterbacks.
All right.
All right, and you can write them down as I say them. I want you to tell me just how you would rank these 7 quarterbacks today, okay?
Yep.
Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, and Jalen Hurts. Okay?
Uh-huh.
I'll give you the names again if you need them again. But just top of your head, give me a little ranking there of those 7 guys. Again, and I go back to question number 1. The only question I'll ask you today is, what is the goal of a quarterback in any given season? Your answer was?
To win the Super Bowl.
To win the Super Bowl. Okay, so Joe Burrow, has he won a Super Bowl?
He has not.
Has he been to a Super Bowl?
Yes.
He's been to 1 Super Bowl, 0 for 1, correct?
Yes.
All right, Josh Allen, has he been to a Super Bowl?
No.
He's not, so 0 for him. Justin Herbert, has he been to a Super Bowl?
No.
He is not, so 0 for him?
Yes.
Okay, great. Dak Prescott, has he been to a Super Bowl?
Hell no. He's been the furthest of everyone on that
Hasn't
group.
even been to an NFC Championship game, right? So that is 0 for him?
0 for him.
All right, great. So put a 0 for him. Aaron Rodgers, has he been to a Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay, has he won a Super Bowl?
Yes.
How many has he won?
1.
He's got 1 Super Bowl win. Okay,
And he's
great.
in his 40s.
Okay, he's 40, just turned 41 maybe, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Matthew Stafford, he been to a Super Bowl?
Yes.
How many?
1.
Has he won one?
Yes.
Okay, Jalen Hurts, the 7th guy on the list there. Has he been to a Super Bowl?
He's been to 2 Super Bowls.
I'm sorry, how many?
He's been to 2 Super
He's
Bowls.
been to 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And how many has he won?
He's won 1.
1. Okay, so let's go back to question number 1. Question number 1 was, what is the ultimate goal for every starting quarterback in the NFL in any particular season? And the answer again was?
Is to win the Super Bowl.
Okay, Jalen Hurts has been to more Super Bowls than all of them,
Yes.
and has as many Super Bowls or more than every guy on that list, okay?
Yes. One more note. He's the only quarterback in the NFL in his 20s
Yeah.
that has a Super Bowl win.
Great.
In the
Okay,
whole league.
great. Thank you for adding that. Didn't need it, but okay, add on. I appreciate the add on there.
All right.
So I'm not telling you today that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Joe Burrow. That is not the argument I'm making. I'm not telling you today that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Josh Allen. Not the argument I'm making today. Oh, and by the way, let's add my favorite quarterback, Lamar Jackson, to the list as well.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson, how many Super Bowls has he been to?
0.
Oh, 0. Okay, just checking on that. All right, I'm not telling you that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than my guy, Lamar Jackson. But I am telling you that if the objective goal in any particular season, you said it, not me, is to do what?
Win the Super Bowl.
Then how in the world can people in Philadelphia be openly talking today, as they are, I checked it, as to whether or not, A, he should be benched for Tanner McKee, their backup who's never played in the NFL. And they even asked Nick Sirianni that at a press conference, either I think it was yesterday,
No,
maybe this morning.
He was doing his. He does a radio hit once a week.
So not a press conference, an interview.
Yes, he was.
All right.
He was asked at the presser, but he was asked to.
So Nick Sirianni does a radio interview, I guess WIP in Philadelphia.
Yep, once a week.
And he was asked this morning, will you consider benching Jalen Hurts for a guy that's never played in the NFL? For a guy that's never played in the NFL, Nick Sirianni very quickly dismissed it by saying, no, let's move on.
Yeah.
It's a stupid question for a coach that has a quarterback that has brought his team to 2 Super Bowls and a Super Bowl MVP.
Yes.
All right? Now, I want to be clear about this. If you're openly discussing in Philadelphia the decision, or if there should be a decision, to bench your 2-time Super Bowl appearing quarterback, your 1-time Super Bowl champion, your 1-time Super Bowl MVP for a guy that nobody ever saw play in college, let's be honest about it.
Nobody watched.
And a guy that has never taken a snap, essentially, in the NFL. How do you call yourselves, and you do this all the time, Philadelphia, a smart sports town?
It is.
Your words, not mine.
It's the smartest.
Okay, how can Philadelphia be considered the smartest sports town in America when the people that are supposed to be representing the fan base, meaning talk show hosts on the #1 sports talk station in Philadelphia, are asking the head coach if he plans on benching the guy that 10 months ago was the Super Bowl MVP.
Well,
those two things do not work together, my friend.
It's just the emotion. It's the emotion. And just because you talk about this for a living, that doesn't mean you know this, that you automatically know the game.
Those guys represent the smartest sports fans in America, you said.
They are the smartest sports
Meaning
fans.
that the Philadelphia Eagle fans are openly discussing either a benching him with a month to go while in first place in the NFCs, and if not benching him, trading him in the offseason.
Yes, that is big talk.
Mind blown. Mind blown, my friends. It's so stupid because, again, the goal is to win a Super Bowl. He's only been the starting quarterback for a full season for 5 years now, right?
Yep.
All right? When this season comes to an end, this is something that none of you pay attention to. Tyrone does, but the rest of you are lazy, so I'll do your work for you, including guys on the radio in Philadelphia who I guess are just going after hot clicks these days. I know there's something about that. I'm not going to lie about it. Every once in a while, I go a little extra, a little extra, a little extra. But it's all based in reality, my true feelings, okay? Yeah. But here's the reality. And here's the reality of Jalen Hurts that none of you knuckleheads in Philadelphia are acknowledging. He has never had great statistical years when it comes to yards or touchdowns. He's never thrown for 4,000 yards in a season. He's never thrown for 30 touchdowns in a season. He obviously adds a lot with his legs, more than any other quarterback in the 5 years that he's been the starting quarterback. But when this year is said and done, the year that you guys want to bench him, the year that's going to make you want to trade him, do you know that there's a good chance this will be Jalen Hurts' greatest statistical year of his career? A guy that in 5 years, 4 really, has gone to 2 Super Bowls and won one, that when this year is done, this will, other than yards, will be the greatest statistical season he's ever had? Explain to me again how you can think of yourselves as the smartest sports town in America. You're stupid.
Massive budget down there in LSU, no doubt about it, Joe. But
I just want to bring in, he's very close to Eddie O, too. Yeah. And Eddie O, potentially, it said he would, love a return. You bring that type of talent, another major recruiter. And Ed Ogeron back to Baton Rouge, you're going to have a fantastic NFL caliber type of staff, and they're going to hit the ground running week #1 come 2026.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
There are a million ways to make money on this. There really is, right? Like I sit back. We've given you a couple of ours that we've given you. I think they're all going to win, essentially. The gold one, the Google Views one. The only one I might not win, Cam, that I gave people was, will the U.S. government announce that aliens exist in 2026?
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Here's the problem. When Joe Dumars blows it up and trades Zion, who is going to give them anything more than 25 cents on the dollar for a damaged goods superstar who misses significant time, who doesn't love the game, but is built like a freight train? Problems are in New Orleans, and I don't know how it gets fixed.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Florida was thought to get Lane Kiffin, but they go and turn to Tulane head coach John Summerall. This is a solid hire, coach.
He's a tough-minded coach. I thought he would be a perfect fit at Auburn, just knowing he's from Alabama. But I think Florida got an outstanding coach. He will be a tough nut that knows how to win football games.
The Bowden Blitz, only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. We don't talk much here, nor should we, about professional female sports. There's really only one that I'm aware of, the WNBA, and I find that league to be absolutely annoying to follow with all the hate that's been thrown towards the greatest women's basketball player of all time, the woman who saved the sport, Caitlin Clark, of course. But I did notice yesterday, Tyrone, that I don't know who puts this out, maybe you do, the female athlete of the year.
The AP.
There's an AP thing?
They do it every year.
Oh.
They do it every year.
Well, so it's obviously going to be, other than maybe a tennis player, like a Serena Williams or something like that.
She won it 5 times.
Yeah, which makes sense. She's one of the greatest, she's probably the greatest individual women's athlete of all time.
Yes.
In a non-team sport, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Not the greatest athlete of all time because men are. That's another story.
So you're doing that on. Is this one of those you doing? You add that little extra steak like you mentioned in the last segment, or no?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
It's interesting to me who the AP voted for Women's Athlete of the Year.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to take a guess at who it is, or do you know?
Well, I mean,
I think my point of saying.
Well, it's not an Olympic year.
I think they picked the wrong woman. But go ahead.
It's not an Olympic year.
Yeah.
This year, and the girl that you declared the greatest player.
Yeah.
Was hurt all year.
Yeah. So Caitlin Clark can't win it.
Can't win it.
To be fair, she should win it every single year.
No, she shouldn't.
Because she single-handedly revived the sport that no one has ever cared about. Including women, by the way. Like, if all the people that bitched about, the lack of coverage or people talking about the sport actually went to games, the sport could actually be successful. But nobody goes if Caitlin's not playing. We all know that. But that's another story for another day. So the winner of the AP Women's Athlete of the Year.
Female Athlete of the Year officially.
Pardon me. Female Athlete of the Year.
For what it's worth.
Which these days could have been born a man. Certainly possible. You don't know exactly. Like, do we know? Do we really know?
We know this year.
I'm just saying, like, the Female Athlete of the Year could have been Leah Thomas. And Leah Thomas had a penis at one point.
We know this year.
Are you sure?
100% sure.
100% positive.
100%
But isn't it crazy that the way the world is, that we have to ask the question now? Is the Women's Athlete of the Year all woman?
Well,
was she born a woman? Was her name Frank at some point back in 2006? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
but
you do have to ask that question, no?
You do.
That's what I'm asking it.
You do, but that's being corrected in large part.
Okay, well, let's hope it does get corrected, because men should not compete against women in any sport if the competition counts for something. It's another story, of course, for your people a lot smarter than me and Tyrone.
But who won?
All right, so the winner and I think they picked the wrong gal. I'll tell you who I think should have won it.
Okay.
The winner, I hope I pronounce it correctly, AJ Wilson.
Asia.
It's not spelled like Asia.
Yes, it is.
It is?
AJA.
That's not Asia.
That's Asia in the black community.
Okay, Asia. Congratulations.
It is.
I thought it was ASIA myself.
Asia. That's the continent, not always the name. You can't name a black girl Asia. Now, what are we doing here? She's literally not Asian. She's black. So you can't name her Asia.
AJA.
Like Asia.
Apostrophe in there?
Yeah.
I think so.
I think so, but it's definitely AJA.
In any event, congratulations. She's a phenomenal female basketball player.
She won MVP of the league again.
There you go.
She won Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay.
On a winning championship roster.
No, she's fantastic.
She's a great player.
Congratulations to Wilson and her extended family. What a great honor to be the AP Women's Athlete of the Year.
And Bam Adebayo, her boyfriend.
Oh, she's dating Bam Adebayo?
Yeah, from the Miami Heat. Yeah,
there you go. Wow, those kids are going to be really good at basketball. I say that.
They are.
Well, congratulations. It's just not who I would have picked.
Well, who would you have picked?
With all due respect, because I don't follow women's sports that much.
But I'm worried about this.
Because I don't care that much or at all.
Who would you have picked?
Well, I started to think about, like, what makes you an athlete, right? Endurance.
Endurance is very important.
Right? Endurance for sure. Some type of physical skill that the average person doesn't have.
You like to see some athleticism.
Athleticism, however you want to define that, right? Maybe even some learned skills that play well in your chosen sport.
Yeah, like with Simone Biles won, for example. She could jump very high, flip, the whole shebang. Yeah.
So I would have given, I had Asia, Wilson. I had her third on my list. I would give her the bronze this year. Yeah.
The bronze?
Yeah.
There's two people in front of her?
I had, just my list. I'm not with the AP.
Right.
They also didn't ask for my vote. I would have said the two gals, athletes that I would have put ahead of Asia Wilson because I think their sport is more taxing on the body. I would have put Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips on that list ahead of Asia Wilson.
Now, what are we doing?
And they compete with men. They're going up against women every day.
They compete with men, but they don't compete against men.
Oh, no, sometimes they do. The videos I've seen, there's a big competition going on. A lot of sweat, a lot of hand-eye coordination. So, again, congrats to Asia. I had her third, but it doesn't take away from the fact that she's the big winner.
Everyone has just been lying about this whole thing. Okay. Of the top 15 teams in the country, there are 4 total losses to unranked football teams. Miami has half of them.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
Nobody bats 300 anymore because the value of hitting a fly ball, which could eventually become a home run, is so much more valuable. It's when the shift in the NBA went from 2-pointers to 3-pointers. Well, if I can make 40% of my threes, I'm just going to jack threes all over the place. There's more value in that. Well, there's more value in just like ripping driver most of the time.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
You've got an 18-1-6 hockey team. You've got a 10-2 football team. So the best record in hockey, the best record in football, and top 5 in the NBA with Jokic and the gang, and the Nuggets at 14-6. And I'm saying to myself, what other town comes close to that?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
We just can't quit Josh Allen. He's at a 16% chance. And then the Baltimore Ravens. Ooh, don't count Lamar out. The Indianapolis Colts and Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen. And then there's those Kansas City Chiefs. But I got to tell you, Joe, you see how we're going lower and lower on this list right here? I'm telling you, a nice little wild card down there. You plunk $100 back and get paid $1,429 back on Houston Texans.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here as well. Congratulations to my New York Knickerbockers. Last night, big win up in Toronto as they now advance to the semifinals. That's right, of the in-season cup, the Emirates Cup in the NBA. But there's a debate we have to have. When the Knicks win this, and clearly they should be the favorites, they are going to win the cup, all right?
What do you mean they're favorites? I don't know that.
They're the favorites.
I
checked, I double-checked, I triple-checked. They're prohibitive favorites. The New York Knicks clearly are the best team in basketball, and outside of the Thunder, of course. Sure, you own a team with only one loss. That makes you happy? Okay, why not? But there's a...
By the way, the favorite is the Thunder for the cup.
And by the way...
goes Thunder, then the Knicks, then the Magic, then the Lakers.
Yeah, it's the Knicks in reality. Here's
all right.
Situation for you though. When the Knicks do win, and they're going to win the Emirates in-season cup, there are those 4 teams, as you said. They're going to Vegas, and they'll play it out. Okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so here we go. All right. When the Knicks win, we have an interesting decision we have to make as Knicks fans, as a Knicks organization, and I'm a counselor, as you may know. To the Knicks organization.
I've heard that.
Okay. Do we put a banner up or not? And let me just give you some history of this, okay? The LA Lakers said prior to winning their in-season cup a few years back that they would never put a in-season banner up next to actual NBA championship banners. And then because LeBron's there, and LeBron obviously needs people to, anoint him as the greatest player of all time, LeBron went to the Buss family and said, I want a banner. Give me a banner.
That's not what I was
And
told.
Jenny Buss and the crew like, okay, LeBron, fine, if it means that much to you. And the Lakers went against their word and actually hung a banner.
Yeah, they
and
hung
had a
the banner.
celebration for it. right? The Milwaukee Bucks did not hang a banner when they won, and they don't have anywhere near as many championships, as you know, that the Lakers do. The New York Knicks have not won a championship since 1973. We've had nothing to celebrate, literally, Tyrone, in over 50 years. If and when the Knicks win the cup, should the Knicks hang a banner? I've got an answer, but you're not a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
So I want to hear the outsider's view of this before I tell you what should happen. Go.
Now, should we do any fact checks or should we wait till Friday?
I fact-checked it for you already.
No.
The Lakers hung a banner. The Bucks did not.
The Bucks did hang a banner.
They did not.
I'm looking at it.
They did not hang a banner. I can walk you through what happened at another day.
You're required to hang it.
You are not required to hang it. And I know that's a prevailing thought out there. A lot of people think you are required to hang a banner, but you're not.
You are.
Nope.
There for the Knicks. Plus, being that the Knicks never win anything.
They haven't won in a long time.
They never win anything. The Knicks not only should, they should do it with pride.
Okay, and you're so wrong about that, and I'm glad you said that.
And they're required to do it anyway.
Okay, they're not required. It is a
Everywhere.
team decision because it's a team award type of thing in a team's building that the NBA does not control. So here's the reality. While I will celebrate winning it, like a 7-year-old boy in first grade who pumps his chest out and peacocks on the way into first grade, okay?
Okay.
I will celebrate being the best team in basketball, not named the Thunder, okay?
If you beat them, yeah.
But the banner's got to mean something real. And if I've got a 1973 banner hanging from the rafters of Madison Square Garden, I don't have a banner up there for anything else.
There's no Eastern Conference champion banner from the
we
finals
mock
run?
those. We mock those.
Well,
the only banners that matter are championship banners.
That's
okay?
fair.
All right? There you see the banners right there, okay? Billy Joel gets a banner.
Well, you had all those sellouts.
Sold out the Garden like 100 times.
Right. You don't have all those sellouts, yeah.
So I want to be clear about this. I don't want a banner up there. I want to celebrate it. I want to enjoy it. If you want to give out some complimentary T-shirts that say, yo, Emirates Cup champions, I'm good with that. I'll rock the shirt.
Put them on all the seats.
I'll rock it. But the banner should be reserved for real championships only. And my gut is my main man, James Dolan, the owner of the Rangers and the New York Knicks in the Garden, feels the same way. And here's how I know that.
All right.
The New York Knicks recently, a couple years ago, got one of their favorite all-time players into the Hall of Fame. He didn't play for the Knicks very long, but Bernard King, number 30, is an NBA Hall of Famer.
He is.
Professional basketball Hall of Famer.
Yes.
They've given his number out to anybody who wants it. Julius Randle got to wear Bernard King's number. All right?
It's disrespectful.
The number's never been retired, and the number will never go into the rafters. Now, Bernard King had a short career with the Knicks. He was my favorite Knick growing up. That's the decade of the 80s, obviously, when I really got into basketball.
Right. He's an explosive scorer.
He's one of our greatest players of all time.
He is.
Again, short career, bad knee injuries, had some personal demons as well that derailed his career. All right? But Bernard King is in the Hall of Fame, and his jersey is not in the rafters at Madison Square Garden, which tells you all you need to know. We're going to take home the trophy. We're going to enjoy it. We may even celebrate it a little bit, but we're not having a parade in the Canyon of Heroes, and we are not putting that banner up in the hallowed rafters of Madison Square Garden.
Now, are you sure?
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Okay? You're a diehard Sixers fan, correct?
I am.
When's the last time the Sixers won a championship?
1983.
1983.
Long time.
Moses Malone.
Mo
Cheeks.
Right.
Dr. J.
That's right.
Fo, and Fo. They
Andrew
actually did it Fo, and 5, but we all understood what it meant.
4-5-4. They did sweep the Lakers.
All right.
4-5-4, yeah.
So you haven't won one in 40 plus years.
Yeah, forever.
If the Sixers ever got good again,
yeah.
And by the way,
they're decent.
Playing better than I thought they would this year.
Playing decent this year.
All right, with a lot of injuries, of course. If the Sixers won the Emirates Cup,
yeah,
would you demand a banner be hung in the building or not?
Absolutely not.
Thank you very much.
Because you got to wait for a real championship.
That's right.
If you're the
Which
Sixers.
is why the Lakers are such frauds, hanging a banner because LeBron wanted to see a banner get hung.
Now listen, I'm going to let you cook on the LeBron thing. They're not the only ones that have it up. They're not the only ones, but that's
How
all
do
right.
the Lakers hang a banner for the Emirates Cup next to actual banners? Like, Magic Johnson had to be like, that's the banner you're putting up there? It's bad enough they hung the COVID banner championship.
Well, that's a championship.
That's not a real championship.
It's
either.
a real championship. What are you going to do?
But I want to be clear. The New York Knicks are not going to sully that building. They're not going to sully the memory of 1973 and Willis Reed and Clyde Frazier and on and on and on. They ain't going to do it. Earl the Pearl,
Yeah.
arguably the greatest backcourt of all time.
Yes, arguably.
All
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They are not going to sully the memory of that great championship team by hanging a banner. We'll acknowledge it. They get their bonus checks for it. We'll do a little thing before an upcoming game later on this year, obviously.
Yeah.
When they win it, we'll applaud them. We'll give them a ring if they want a ring, but there'll be no banner on my watch. And I'll be there on the wood, meaning sitting courtside. Mm-hmm. And if they go to raise a banner, I'm going to get arrested for a second time.
Oh, my God.
Because me and Tracy Morgan
You jump
are going to
running
be
on the
running
court.
out there. I'm going to get you pregnant. And we're going to take that banner down.
Fat Joe might be there as well.
He doesn't run no more.
Well, coming around. Now, all right. Do you put it up at the practice facility?
I don't care what you do at the practice facility. Sure, go ahead.
Put it up at the practice
You want to take
facility.
a team photo and frame it, put it up there? Yeah.
Yeah, put it at the
I don't
practice
care.
facility.
Most fans have never been to the practice facility.
I just know it exists.
I've been there twice.
There you go.
Filmed a commercial there once.
Oh, that's cool.
But no, you want to put it up there? I don't care. You could build a statue.
So what
by
if
the practice facility? Don't matter to me.
Now, what if they say you got to put it up?
They don't, but go ahead.
Or you got to pay a fine. Are you saying Dolan should eat the fine?
I write that check. That's the easiest check James Dolan will ever write in his lifetime. I write that check. You know why? Because that part of the building is reserved for champions. That part of the building is reserved for the Larry O'Brien Trophy Award winner. That part of the building is reserved solely for teams that got the ticker tape parade down the Canyon of Heroes. And I think that's happening this year anyway. So I'm going to get myself my banner. And I want the Knicks to win the Emirates Cup. And I do like the in-season tournament. I'll say this, though. You got to change that court in Toronto. That red court, I can't watch it. Headache-inducing crap. But no banners. None.
And FanDuel are getting ready to launch their own prediction market, so Polymarket will be coming back at a time when the competitive landscape is dominated by Kalshi, and soon it's going to have FanDuel and DraftKings in there as well, which I'm really eager to see what their products look like and how the timing kind of impacts the use of Polymarket. Will it be number one in the App Store for the next couple months? Who knows?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
You've got an 18-1-6 hockey team. You've got a 10-2 football team. So the best record in hockey, the best record in football, and top 5 in the NBA with Jokic and the gang, and the Nuggets at 14-6. And I'm saying to myself, what other town comes close to that?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
We just can't quit Josh Allen. He's at a 16% chance. And then the Baltimore Ravens. Ooh, don't count Lamar out. The Indianapolis Colts and Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen. And then there's those Kansas City Chiefs. But I got to tell you, Joe, you see how we're going lower and lower on this list right here? I'm telling you, a nice little wild card down there. You plunk $100 back and get paid $1,429 back on Houston Texans.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here as well. There's people that are up in arms now as we're, a week or so away from the start of the tournament, right? College football tournament. After we get Army-Navy first this weekend.
Yeah, week and a half.
I think it's next Friday it starts, right?
Yeah, Army-Navy, the Heisman, and then it all begins. Yep.
All right, awesome. So here's the rhetoric right now from people that are still pissed that Notre Dame's not in it. And this comes directly from, sensitive, kind of bitchy Notre Dame fans.
And their athletic director.
And their athletic director who's frankly embarrassed himself.
He won't stop.
And not because the Big 12 commissioner said so, because the Big 12 commissioner is a historical liar and bad human being. So I don't want to even I won't even utter his name publicly because he's an awful, awful human being. You should ask his ex-girlfriend when he forced her to get an abortion how she felt about that when he got her pregnant, which is just another story for another day. Regardless of that, so here's the rhetoric out there now, okay? The rhetoric out there now is Notre Dame got screwed. Notre Dame got screwed. I don't think they got screwed. I think if anyone got screwed, it's BYU because, their extra loss was in a championship game, and that shouldn't be held against you. James Madison is playing Oregon Saturday night, a week from Saturday, right?
Yeah.
December 20th. They are 21.5-point underdogs.
Yep, on the road. Yep, at Oregon.
All right, Tulane, Jewish quarterback, my guy Retzler, first Jewish quarterback to ever make it into any type of tournament in college football history. They're the 11th seed. They play Ole Miss, the 6th seed, and they right now are 17.5-point underdogs. And by the way, those should be the spreads.
Right.
I'm not arguing the spread's wrong.
Right.
But Notre Dame fans now coming out going, what is this? If you want the 12 best teams, Notre Dame wouldn't be underdog by a touchdown or 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns. Yeah, you're right. You wouldn't be. But maybe you should have won 1 extra game.
Right.
Maybe you should have beaten Miami when you played them early in the season, right?
Or Texas A&M.
But here's the thing I love about it. Because the thing that we all fell in love with years ago with March Madness, the basketball tournament, was a team that was a double-digit point favorite scaring a better seed. Princeton. We love the Pete Carroll Princeton Tigers, right?
Right.
Because they almost beat Georgetown.
Yep.
Oh, they almost beat this team or that team. We love the Raleigh Massimino, Villanova Wildcats, because they did beat Georgetown.
10 seed won the whole thing.
We love the NC State Wolfpack because they did beat Phi Slamma Jamma and the Houston Cougars, right? With Jimmy Valvano.
George Mason made the Final Four.
These are the stories that we embrace. So the fact that you have 2 teams that are prohibitive underdogs, which we all knew they would be going in because they're the 2 smaller conference teams, obviously. They don't play the best competition, and they're not in the same class as the SEC or the Big Ten, and we accept that. I'm rooting for both of them. I want to see both of them win because that's the part of sports that we love. And I know your butts are hurting Notre Dame, but don't take it out on the Dukies from James Madison or the Jewish Green Wave from Tulane. I want those guys to win.
Right. They didn't have anything to do with it. The other part, Notre Dame, is you can avoid all of this by joining a conference.
Also very, very true.
If they joined a conference, they would have been one of the top 2 teams most likely in that conference, and they would have gotten in. They want to be independent, and they want all the positives of the money and the prestige, but they don't want any of the negatives.
Yeah.
Those teams are in because they won their conference.
That's exactly right. This is where the hubris of Notre Dame bit them right in the ass. Because if you were in a conference, you would be a lock to be in the top 12. You would have earned an automatic bid, and you'd be there. But you chose to be bigger than everybody else, which you've always done. That's not new. But let's not attack James Madison. Let's not attack the Tulane Green Wave because you're out. Just suck it up and be the. I can't call people bitches anymore because we get community noted and it's like bullying and harassment. And then they take down our social media feed, which feeds everyone's family around here. So I'm not going to use the B word right now, but it's just so soft for you to be complaining about James Madison and Tulane right now because you didn't get in. Just swallow your own problems, right?
Right.
And then you don't play in a bowl game, which is a further embarrassing that the kids are not willing to compete. And that's the story I heard from the AD, that the captains got together and the captains went to Marcus Freeman, the head coach, and said, we don't want to play in a bowl game that doesn't mean anything. I don't buy that story either.
I don't buy it either.
Because what I know about 20, 21-year-old kids that play high-level college football is the competition is what feeds their soul.
Right.
And the fact that you're telling me that some of these kids are going to be playing on Sundays next year are avoiding more competition, I don't buy that for a minute. I really don't. And allegedly they voted and they went to Marcus Freeman, the head coach, and said, we don't want to play in the game. Now, to be fair, the guys that are going to be in the NFL may have said, I'm not risking an injury.
Yeah, Love probably would have opted out.
Which I hate because it goes against who these kids are, but I understand.
It started with McCaffrey at Stanford, and it's going from there. Here's the other part, though. What these coaches always say, and this is the hypocrisy, we want the bowl game because we want the extra month of practice with the guys. So even if they opt out, who's going to replace Jeremiah Love? That kid now gets a month of practice, and you see what he does. Now, all of a sudden, that's not important. After they're the ones, the coaches said, we need that practice time so badly. And now they
and by the way, who wouldn't want to play another game? And
BYU's a good team.
It's a really good team. That would have been a great game. Yeah. I'm here for that. I would have watched that game.
Of course.
Even though there's no championship, attached. Yeah, so that's that.
Even got millions of viewers.
And I know a lot of you right now have fallen in love with these prediction markets like Polymarket and Kalshi, and I understand why. They're an unregulated gambling market, and either they're going to be regulated or they're going to be shut down at some point because there's a way to rig the system, not from a sports standpoint, but with the other things that you can wager on those two sites, which are both now valued at billions and billions of dollars. And I know like FanDuel's in it now, DraftKings is in it now, Fanatics is in it now because you have to be. Because it's easy money, and there's money out there to be had in the world of gambling, although it's unregulated by any state in this country, which is why you can do it in all 50 states, unlike legalized gambling, which is only in 39 states. Predictive markets are in all 50 states. But here's the thing you have to be careful about. There's a thought out there that starts from these predictive markets as to who the favorite is to get this job or that job.
Yep.
So they set odds that mean nothing. They just set odds so that you will wager on it, one side versus the other side, and bet on those contracts, etc. So right now, according to the prediction markets, Marcus Freeman is the number one most likely choice of the New York Giants to become their next head coach. Marcus Freeman's not leaving Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman has never once uttered an interest in the New York Giants job. And while he's a very good coach, and obviously if he was available, would be on top of a lot of people's lists, the New York Giants haven't asked Notre Dame to talk to him. They haven't reached out to Marcus Freeman's agent, and he's never once talked about wanting to coach in the pros or for the New York Giants. Marcus Freeman makes $9 million a year as the head coach of Notre Dame. Guess what? He ain't going anywhere. So stop.
There are a million ways to make money on this. There really is. Right? Like I sit back. We've given you a couple of ours that we've given you. I think they're all going to win, essentially. The gold one, the Google Views one. The only one I might not win, Cam, that I gave people was, will the U.S. government announce that aliens exist in 2026?
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Here's the problem. When Joe Dumars blows it up and trades Zion, who is going to give them anything more than 25 cents on the dollar for a damaged goods superstar who misses significant time, who doesn't love the game, but is built like a freight train? Problems are in New Orleans, and I don't know how it gets fixed.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
You've got an 18-1-6 hockey team. You've got a 10-2 football team. So the best record in hockey, the best record in football, and top 5 in the NBA with Jokic and the gang, and the Nuggets at 14-6. And I'm saying to myself, what other town comes close to that?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Chris Beard said, I can just play different players. And kudos to Chris Beard. NIL does not matter. Recruiting rankings don't matter. Who your AAU coaches doesn't matter. At the end of the day as a coach, your loyalty is to your school. Your loyalty is to all the kids in the program.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyron Johnson here. I got to get to the Power 5, but first, I know there's people in New England very, very upset. They think they're being wronged. You're not being wronged. No one goes out and sets spreads based on your emotional feelings. But it is interesting. New England beat Buffalo already this year. Did they not, Tyrone?
Yes.
And New England right now has the inside track to the number 1 seed. Them and the Denver Broncos, obviously, right, in the AFC?
Yes, that is correct.
So the Bills play the Patriots.
Big game.
Who's favored in that game?
Oh wait, now I had.
You know, by the way I'm saying it, you know exactly.
Oh,
where
so wait, the game's in New England, so it's got to be the Patriots.
Yeah, the game
Buffalo.
The Buffalo Bills are favored in this game because of what I've been saying all year. The Patriots are a great story in the NFL, and Drake May's playing his ass off, and Mike Vrabel's doing a great job. Clearly, he'll be coach of the year, but they haven't beaten anybody.
No.
Like, they have 2 wins against teams with winning records, and one of those is against Tampa. And Tampa has lost 5 straight games, or 5 or 6 or something like that, right?
And they were a mass unit. Yeah. Nobody played that game for Tampa.
The other win, of course, is against the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
So, all of a sudden, the New England Patriots are underdogged in a game against a team that they've already beaten this year.
Mm-hmm. At home.
And why is that? Because everybody recognizes the Bills have had a tougher schedule. The Bills are obviously that great comeback against the Bengals in that last 5 minutes of that game, you're putting the game away. And the Patriots, while great record, great story, all that stuff, just haven't beaten anybody, which is why the Patriots are not number 1 on the Power 5 this week.
Oh.
Number 5. These are the 5 best teams of football as we speak. Number 5, the Denver Broncos.
I'm cool with that. I mean, they beat everybody, but they're not impressive.
They are not impressive.
But
Everybody they beat on a last-second field goal. Mm-hmm. But the Denver Broncos are still right there.
Yeah.
At 11-2 with the best record, tied with New England, of course.
Yeah.
In the AFC.
10 straight wins.
And they are either the 1 seed or the 2 seed coming into the playoffs. The Denver Broncos are number 5. Number 4, going to go to the NFC. They're not perfect yet, but they show glimpses of being a problem. And they're in first place, the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, there's a lot to build on. I do question Love in the big moments, his consistency. Mm-hmm. You can see he might be the best thrower currently in the NFL at times, but he's not consistent.
Yep,
but
9-3-1. Obviously, They just took care of business against Chicago. Great game, by the way. Chicago drops down to 9-4, so a half game out.
Yeah.
But the Green Bay Packers right now are the 4th best team in football, and they've got the division lead for the moment. Number 3, only one you can argue with me, and I don't think you're going to argue with me this week. The 3rd best team in all of football right now are the Houston Texans.
See, I can't really argue. I think
Houston just knocked Kansas City out.
Right. And also on this show,
they're 8-5.
We'll never find the tape. I predicted them to make the playoffs when they were 0-3.
Nobody remembers that. Nobody.
It's
remembers
on the
that.
program.
Nobody
I said it on the show.
That.
Ethan made fun of me.
The Texans right now are the 7th seed, and they would play the Patriots if it ended today. So the Texans have the best defense in the AFC. Stroud's coming back, obviously. They don't run the ball great. Their offensive line isn't great, but man, that defense takes over games. I think the Texans right now are the team to beat in the AFC.
Wow.
The number 2 team, the LA Rams. Yeah. LA Rams right now, seeding-wise, are the number 1 seed in the NFC. So I went chalk on this one. Nothing bad you could say about the Rams. They do everything well, and they're going to be a problem for everybody in the postseason because they've got all the elements of a championship team. The coach, the quarterback, the running game, the wide receivers, they've got it all, which means there's a different team atop the Power 5 this week.
All right.
And again, this changes every Wednesday. It's all based on performances that we've seen. The number 1 team right now, and they get no love. They get no respect. They're the Rodney Dangerfield of the NFL. But the best team right now, they're not the 1 seed. They're not the 2 seed. They're not the 3 seed. They're not the 4 seed. But they are the 10-3 Seattle Seahawks. And the only reason they're not the 1 seed is because they lose the tiebreaker to the Rams. Yeah. They've got the same record as the best team in the NFC. They are both 10-3, but they lose the tiebreaker to the Rams. The Seahawks, they're getting great defense. They run the ball. They've got the wide receiver of the year this year in Jackman Smith-Njigba. They've got Darnold playing his ass off. They're well coached. They are a problem for everyone, and they are my Week 14 number one team atop the Power 5.
That's interesting. They have, and just to add on real fast with them, they have the Colts, and then on a short week, it's Rams Seahawks in the rematch for the 1 seed. 8 days from now.
And they end the season with the Niners.
On the road.
Depending on what the Rams, Seahawks, and San Fran does, that game can be for 3 spots in the NFC postseason.
Absolutely.
And the number one seed overall.
Yeah, so I can't argue with this. Is a good list this week.
Thank you.
I
felt pretty good about it.
All
the
right.
Texans are going to the Super Bowl, folks. Let's not sleep on that. I'll tell you another team not to sleep on. Yeah. If Miami beats Pittsburgh, the Dolphins might go to the playoffs this year. What? Head blowing up. Head blowing up. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you for watching.